by any vowel that appears in front of a vowel that ends a word means contract. It's a two-letter contract. That's how you can tell these things. This is called parse, P-A-R-S-E, parts of speech. S-C is Latin for speech. P-A-R is parts. So what I did was I studied parse. I studied syntax. Syntax is how two words come together. And the word grammar is how a sentence is constructed. Do you know that all grammar, a correct worded sentence, only has one verb in it? The average sentence written by an attorney has anywhere from 3 to 5 verbs in it. Some sentences have adverb, verb, adverb, verb, adverb, verb. The whole sentence is written that way. There's not even an adjective or a pronoun, a preposition, article, or an effect. When you were in school, 5th grade, we studied prepositional phrases. That was the preposition, article, and noun made up your prepositional phrase. Mrs. Lusher was my 5th grade English teacher in Marion County Grade School in North Grove, Indiana. I grew up with the Amish, the Mennonite, and the Hoosiers. I come from North Grove, Indiana. My family's been there since 1834. North Grove, Indiana was where the first house in the state of Indiana was built by my cousin. My fifth cousin on my mother's side. But we came here from Pennsylvania. I'm Cherokee. My great-great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee, and my grandfather came to Switzerland in 1780. Settled here in North Grove, Indiana. Half the people in the town are related to me as great aunts and great uncles, and going all the way back to 1834. My cousin, who I played with in 1957, was born in 1838. She died in 1957 when I was 8 years old. 114 years old she was, living in the same house her parents built in North Grove, Indiana. Isn't that something? She's in the Guinness Book of World Records. This is one of the oldest people living. And I think she's probably one of the oldest ones in Indiana. And I used to work on the farms with the Quakers and the Amish here in Indiana, cutting hay and driving tractors, and I had my fun playing in the hay, the harvest time. So I'm fully aware of the politics and everything. And Mrs. Lusher, my English teacher, was my next door neighbor. We had an 80-acre farm with 40 pigs. We had 40 head of cattle, and we were farmers too. My mom and dad gave that a shot. We had six brothers and sisters, so big family. When we studied prepositions, pre meant no, position. An article, anytime you have a vowel and two consonants, ART, we have no ownership. So if you have no position and you have no ownership, you have a no-no. N-O is no and UN is no in Latin, better known as the noun. So what we did is when we disqualified this in 1999, we had to come up with a brand new answer for a mathematical interface on grammar. So we did this. We had a position, dropping the word pre. And the word lodio is spelled L-O, which is location, D-I is original, A-L is contract. And if you have ownership, in other words, for my pen, for is a position, my is lodio, and pen would then become a fact. Now, if I just were to drop one of these two positions here and say my pen and drop the word for, or with my pen, and I drop the word with, and just say my pen, my becomes an adverb, and an adverb modifies a verb. Modification is change, change is motion, motion is action, action is verb. See, all ADV, vowel and two consonants, modifier. ADJ, adjective, color, modifier. P-R-O, no. N-O, no. U-N, no. They gave us a lot of negative choices, all to go with this sentence here. When you graduate from judge school, you learn this article. You learn this. All judges, attorneys, lawyers, politicians all swear the same oath that no law or fact shall be retried in court. And no is a negative. That's why the sign says no trespassing, no parking, no don't walk. And see, what the sign should read, for the trespassing on this land is with the fee of the $5,000. For the parking of the car in this space is with the fee of the $500. That's a performance contract. Everyone understands performance contracts. Now I have the Pizza Hut next to the Outback Steakhouse. Very popular places on Saturday night and Friday night. And the people came to my seminar from Pizza Hut. They said, you know, we've got 2 spaces reserved for delivery. And everybody parks in there, and my delivery guy's got no place to park. I says, well, put a sign up. For the parking of the car is with the crushing and melting. The sign next to it says, for the parking of the car is with the fee of the $500. No one ever parked in those 2 parking spaces again, except the delivery man. Problem solved, because everyone understands the performance contract. Now, here's another little quirk, point of information. Somebody impounds your car. You parked it where it wasn't supposed to be parked, and they towed it, put it in an impound lot. And the guy wants some $250 for towing and $100 a day for storage. Well, anybody that's in possession of your vehicle that doesn't have title to it is renting your vehicle. So you send him a true bill for renting your automobile for as long as he's had it. If you want to go down to the local courthouse, you can pull up a lawsuit by Avis Rent-A-Car or Hertz Rent-A-Car, copy it, and sue the tow truck company. Or if a police officer orders a tow truck company to remove your vehicle from the highway and he won't give it back to you, send him a true bill for for rent-a-car. Your car will be back in 1 day, maybe a couple hours. Works every time. Just a little plug there. The fraud that takes place here is profound with the courthouses and the courts. And you know, people say, we're in court and the judge says, this is Judge Wasilewski, he says, you know, David, after he took away my children in 1980, I went to trial 65 consecutive times, 2 weeks apart, under what's called a writ de novo. Now, this is a pronoun, adverb, adverb, verb, but if you put for the writ of de novo, then this becomes a 5, a 6, a 7, a 5, a 6, and a 7. This is French, but de means the, in novo, it would then become a fact. So I filed for the writ of the de novo. Now what that means is if you violate equality, that's discrimination, that's a crime. 1964 Civil Rights Act violation. So for the writ of de novo is your ticket to get a free trial for anything. I don't care what it is. They cannot move forward on any topic. If they want to foreclose your house and they use adverb verb, they didn't give you equal protection of the law, that's a prepositional phrase, for the protection of the law using the correct parsé syntax grammar. Therefore, you can sue for a writ of de novo just for the be correct on the grammar. Doesn't matter if you got a mortgage or a deed of trust. Indiana uses the terminology mortgage. California uses the terminology deed of trust. Deed is a pronoun, of is an adverb, making trust a verb. The word mortgage, by it stands alone on top of your document, is called a pronoun. There's no prepositional phrase. You know, if I hold up this object, you see a pen. In Spanish, it's scribola. And if I hold this object above 5,000 languages, I'll get 5,000 different sounding effects to what it is. Does 2 plus 2 equal 4? How many of you think 2 plus 2 equals 4? All right, just all's fair. Did you hear what I said, what I meant, what I said, what I said, what I meant, what I said? I can do this 150 different ways before I'm going to get it right. So don't ever presume what you think I said, because if my lips are moving, I'm lying to you. That's what a judge said to me. He says, all you got to do is prove it. He says, and in 8,500 years, Wasilewski says, no one has ever proved it. And I said to him, I said, oh, I says, I know what you said to me. You said to me, wait a minute. He says, you mean to say if I say yes, you're going to say no? He goes, yep. And if I say no, you're going to say yes? He says, that's right. And I says, all right. Does 3 plus 3 equal 6? He goes, yeah. He says, no one ever went to war over a math problem in the history of mankind. No religion, no political organization, no condition of state, no country ever went to war over a math problem. 2 weeks ago, President Obama and President Bill Clinton stood on the podium at the Republican convention on national TV, and the closing statement by Bill Clinton was, no one ever went to war over a math problem in the history of mankind, and we're doing it correct. That's an exact quote from all 2,500 seminars I've done. And by the way, I was Bill Clinton's counsel for the sex trial. Remember the phrase, for those that are old enough? The question was, what is sex? Bill Clinton goes, depends on what the definition of is. And then Bill Clinton turns to the judge and says, I just showed the American people a verb is and a noun is. Would you like me to show them another verb and another noun? And the judge stands up and says, there will be no further questions, Mr. President. This court stands adjourned. Well, every newspaper, TV, announcer, magazine had a comment about that. It became a very, very, very famous phrase. And that famous phrase was one question and a demurred, where demur means to answer a question with a question. And the trial was over. And so nobody knew what it meant. I knew what it meant. I was his counsel. Senator Bill Clinton says to me, Dave, he says, that worked really good. He says, but I got to go in front of Congress, he says, 2 weeks. And I can't take my lawyer with me. I says, well, you're a lawyer, Bill. I says, I'll tell you what you do. You remember the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson? You want the truth, I'll tell you the truth, but you can't handle the truth. Jack Nicholson won Best Actor for that phrase on the witness stand. And the movie won Best